Hi guys, it's Rob Moringa here. I hope you're doing well. Today I'd like to talk with you about fear, discipline, and derealisation, depersonalization, dissociation, um, dissociative, is that a word? I think it is. I should have done some research. Disorders, anxiety, depression. So, yeah, the main three things: fear, discipline, derealisation. So, Friedrich Nietzsche, who some people say is the world's greatest genius ever, and some people say is a total monster. I lean more towards the former, I think, because people who knew him said he was very kind. In fact, one of his last dramatic acts before going insane from the syphilis that he probably caught in the trenches fighting in the war was to throw himself in front of a horse who was being savagely whipped and to take the blows for the horse. And his anti-Semitic sister, who... So, I've read a lot of Nietzsche, and in it, he, if anything, is a... What's the word when you love instead of hate a particular group? The word escapes me. Anyway, he's always praising the Jewish people for various things. And his definition of Superman, as far as I can read it, is simply someone who has self-mastery. But obviously it was, as you know, if you know Bill Bailey, or I think he accidentally told that joke twice. The second time when he was doing the orchestra thing, but everything he does is brilliant, I think. And Jordan Peterson, who is your hero, obviously. And never does anything wrong, and never could, and is not an apologist for disgusting things done in this world. Yes, as pointed out by them, his sister and the Nazis cynically manipulated his ideas and completely twisted them to make it like, Superman, the superior Aryan race, everything else must be wiped out. A lot of people have strong opinions about things without knowing anything about them, myself included, but I have read a lot of Nietzsche, and I can tell you that in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, for example, Zarathustra, the ancient prophet, who, after 30 years of his solitude in the... I'll get to fear in a minute. 30 years of solitude in his cave, comes down to the marketplace where they're not ready for his particular dose of wisdom. Anyway, he's always celebrating life and happiness, and celebrates life is a good way to put it, and comes across some dancing girls and says, how wonderful and lovely you are for expressing yourself like this, etc. Anyway, whatever you think about him, clearly a very astute person, because he predicted in the mid-1800s pretty much exactly what would happen in the mid-1900s. Check it out. So he said fear is most likely our oldest and most ancient emotion. As well it might be, because we share ancestors with dolphins and lobsters and primates, of the other primates, obviously. And the world is a scary place. It still is, in many ways, but living in a tree, and if a giant boa constrictor could, at any point, a very well camouflaged one, could at any point strike you incredibly quickly, you're going to be a bit on edge. And the same would apply to the situation any creature finds themselves in with their natural predator. So, personally, I'd count anxiety as fear. I feel anxiety almost all the time. Going to the shop, I get anxious about doing these videos, partly because I never know what I'm going to say, and partly because I get the strong feeling I'm going to whack what is considered to be what are considered to be hornets' nests of taboo because a lot of my favourite people have, if not, well, a lot of them have been deplatformed from many places. Jordan Peterson was taken off YouTube for a day, put back on. Lost all his emails, lost all his videos. Strange. Gavin McInnes is banned from everywhere. Probably YouTube now as well. Twitter and the rest of it. Milo Yiannopoulos, obviously. You know what's coming. Soon it'll be Ben Shapiro, and then it'll be Sam Harris, and then Dave Rubin's sort of like a trusting child. So I don't know if they'll throw him off, but yeah. So I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous about the 2-hour, 15-minute video I made the other day on Islam, which you might have noticed the videos are back to doing this, making me look like a ghost or making you look like you've got post-hallucinogenic perceptual disorder, because my friend lent me a high-quality camera and I tried to upload the Islam video, tentatively titled "My Thoughts on Islam, what could possibly go wrong?" And I talk about my years of experience in Muslim schools, and I think I did an okay job, even though obviously I'll get hate and berated and possibly killed for it, but I think I did a nuanced job, saying the pros and cons of Islam, and I've done my best to study the area, and I know a lot of Muslim people, obviously. I mean, lived and worked in East London, so I talk about Islamic poetry, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm very nervous about that, obviously. So yeah, this high-quality camera, after a whole day of uploading, in which my computer, I don't know if you can hear it now, but makes this quite unpleasant to me whirring sound, got 1% up in 12 hours. So I'm no good at maths, but well, 100 days actually, it's not that complicated. But I can't leave it on and sleep this noise, so I would have, I'm going to have to persuade my friend, who already does a lot for me, supports me on Patreon and stuff, and is very helpful with all this YouTube stuff, of which I know nothing. Yeah, she's going to cut it up into bits for me, so it'll be my thoughts on Islam. What could possibly go wrong? I was thinking of calling it "My Thoughts on Islam - Getting Nervous?" ? But I didn't want it to come across like a sort of scaremongering, Nick Griffin kind of thing, which I'm fairly certain it doesn't. But that title might, even though I think it's a better title, it might. People that are going to dismiss me as a racist crackpot within 30 seconds might do it within 3 seconds if that title is there. So maybe I'll skip it and give myself a good 30-second run. Anyway, I'm scared about that. I'm nervous about going back to teaching in a few days. I feel very nervous and unsettled about my mental health videos, which I've put out and sort of bared my soul and story, and people have responded very well to it. Some people haven't commented on it, even though I think they've seen it, which makes me uncomfortable. The people very close to me, they might have not known the full story until seeing that. Maybe they feel a bit left in the dark or cheated or something. But these particular people, I don't find it very easy to go. Because this is easy. I'm talking to a machine. Obviously, I'm talking to you guys, but it's not. I don't think it's that brave to sit here and ramble on about how you nearly killed yourself, which isn't particularly brave either, is it? Well, they're saying that Viktor Frankl, whose diaries of the living under the Third Reich, I highly recommend. He was a Jewish professor, risking his life every day writing this book, said the only reason he didn't kill himself when everyone he knew around him and himself were being starved and deprived of doctors and dentists and pets, and the Gestapo could come up to the door any minute, and every leaf rustling was potentially your doom, slow doom. He said the only reason he didn't kill himself was fear. He was this amazing man who survived with angina in old age and forced to do hard labour all the time and living in constant terror, was too scared to kill himself, and that was the only reason he didn't, he said. Too much fear. He also said him and his wife would sometimes sit there thinking, we've got like 40 really, really serious, terrifying problems. But he was saying it always becomes comedic at that point because your mind can't worry about 40 things at once. Like you pick out 2 or 3 maybe and, chew over them. Same with your body. I don't know if you've ever had multiple things wrong with you, but when you do, you tend to focus on 1 or 2 of them more than the others. It's strange. So fear, you're not going to get rid of fear. It's a very, very, very ancient instinct, obviously. Fight or flight, etc. You have to step through the fear. Cowards die many times, as is said, and obviously you're going to be nervous before a date or a job interview or the first day at a job or rambling on YouTube about controversial things or logging into Facebook even gives me quite a significant jolt of anxiety. I don't really look at the the news feed on Facebook because I end up feeling depressed, even though I know these are carefully constructed lives that are on Facebook, but you see the pictures of everyone smiling all the time and under palm trees, and especially now I have a phobia of traveling because of my derealisation symptoms. Make me feel a bit sad. And FOMO, fear of missing out. Fear. You're not going to get rid of fear. You have to step through it because every time you let it win, it grows stronger. It's like that cat in the old children's story, the monster cat who every step you take running away from it gets bigger. So you've got 2 options: kill yourself or bravely confront life. Like the psychoanalysts say, your hero says, Mr. JP. I do like him as well, but I don't like the sort of deification. Is that a word? People who've been turned into some sort of demigod, and everything he says is like unquestionable. Anyway, he was saying you don't get rid of people's fear or anxiety. Well, you can do that briefly through Valium and stuff like that, which I wouldn't recommend. And if you watch my mental health videos, you'll know why I don't recommend it. Even though they can be of great help. I'm not denying that. And I'm not casting judgment on you for taking it if you feel you need to, because I myself have taken such things every day for years. He said you don't make people less afraid, you make them more brave. There's way more to you than you think. You're way more competent than you think. Your intelligence and your fortitude and your instincts will carry you through. I'm sure there's many times you've been laid around before you have to go somewhere you don't want to go. So it's dark outside, it's cold, it's rainy, and you think, it'd be so much easier just to give in to the urge to not do the thing. But you know where that road leads. Okay. Fear in 10 minutes by Robin Ring. There's knocking. I don't know if that's at my door. I hope it's not. It could be the TV license people who send that incredibly annoying, threatening and unsettling letter, You're breaking the law. Dear sir, I'm mad. Discipline. So, discipline is simply forcing yourself on a daily basis. A musical Freudian slip. On a daily basis to do stuff that you know is in your best interest. To prevent stagnation, to prevent becoming overweight and diabetic, etc., which is why you should give up carbohydrates, bread, potatoes, rice, pasta. This is no good. We've been told it's good, but one of the guys who came up with the food pyramid said his biggest regret in life or in his career was putting grains of all kinds I think it's at the base of the pyramid. Take them out of the pyramid. Go vegan if your body can handle it, or if you feel you have to ethically, which I understand, or paleo. Organic. This is the ideal, obviously, but totally organic meat. I don't believe there's such thing as humane slaughter. Ethically, it's a conundrum for me. I've been advised by doctors to eat animal protein because of my hypermobility, which I won't show you because you will go ooh and turn it off. Anyway, I've got chastised by many many vegans for listening to my doctor who has 30 years experience. That, yeah, I feel I have to sort of eat it, but I feel bad obviously about the way chickens are treated, and I know someone very close to me used to have a job breaking the necks of the male chicks in a factory as soon as they were born. They'd come in huge batches and a box, and you know. Yes, so it took a bit of discipline to cut out bread and stuff because I was used to it in the morning, and I felt less full for a few days. But now I'm very glad I did, and I occasionally eat a bit of, like a little bit pasta or like mashed potato or something. But on the whole, cutting that shit out, it's waking up. No matter, unless there's extreme cases where you can't do much, but obviously you have your aches and pains, you have your tiredness and fatigue, you have your depression, you have your existential, the load of existence on you. Discipline is, despite that, you get up and you do the things that you know will make you feel a bit better. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's never easy, because nothing is, but nothing worthwhile is, that's for sure. But it's your best bet, isn't it? You're screwed either way, whatever you do. You know, there's no Hollywood ending. Even if you had the perfect setup, either you mastered the realm of spirituality, which I think is possible, as evidenced by some of the people I've met, the London Buddhist Centre, for example, or listened to, like Sam Harris or Thich Nhat Hanh or Eckhart Tolle. It's quite a solitary life in many ways, but through introspection, you heal yourself of your... the most boring person in the world, as Sam Harris puts it, who takes the form of your thoughts in your head, who's talking to you all the time and you don't quite realise it, and ruling your life and ruining your life, and you don't realise it until you do some serious introspection, either through psychedelics or meditation. And you will dismiss that, most people, but where is the voice coming from that's dismissing it? It is the same hyperactive, repetitive, non-constructive, non-helpful voice that gets you to make the angry phone call or punch the man in the face or whatever it is. Well, sometimes punching in the face is deserved. If you're in the street, someone punches your girlfriend, punch the guy in the face. But yeah, you get the idea. So discipline is, there is no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts. The successful people have worked very hard all the time. That's how they got successful. It wasn't just given to them. And when it is just given to them, people see through it. Donald Trump. Well, the presidency was... So his dad gave him all his money, a lot of his money, and Hillary Clinton gave him the election. Gave him the if you can believe it, the most powerful and prestigious position in the world. So, I don't know if prestigious, but probably the most powerful, don't you think? Unless you believe David Icke, and there are reptilians from different dimensions plugging into our chakra points. Now, I'm not as skeptical as I used to be about chakra points and Reiki and even parapsychology, but that's pushing it. And his evidence is drawings of these creatures. So yeah. So fear and discipline dovetail quite nicely and provide me with a hop, skip and a jump springboard into derealisation, depersonalization, and their, I would say, less distressing cousins, anxiety and depression. So I've already done a few videos on Derealisation, Depersonalization, which got several hundred views in a few days. I really hope that keeps growing, and I encourage you to share all my stuff if you think it'll help people, either with these conditions or help people understand these conditions. Because, like many people, before I got walloped by depression, I used to get sad and even have the occasional suicidal thoughts today, and I'd snap out of it, in a day, 2 days, and I just think, well, I'm obviously strong and stoic, and these depression people are just whiny and weak, and why can't they get their act together? But when you get serious depression and you wake up every day for months or years feeling like all your family has died in a car crash, then you see it a bit differently. Still, I would take that over the derealisation symptoms. One guy said, the lucky bastard got it for like a month and it went away. He said he'd rather be punched in the face every day than have the symptoms. Which, if you have the Simpsons, I did a video playing cartoon theme songs on the guitar, or classical guitar. Maybe that's how that got in there. And in my video of Islam, I was saying about the cartoon controversy and how strange it was that people are dying over cartoons. And I used the Simpsons as the analogy. If people were going to storming offices and embassies and gunning people down, or just gunning blonde people down because they looked a bit like the Danish cartoonists. How strange that would be if it was about the Simpsons, people arguing about, you can't draw Homer like that. Homer, of course, the ancient Greek poet, who a lot of people might have strong attachments to. So maybe we can get there one day. The Simpsons, a Simpsons war. So I've lost my thread, as happens in almost every video, because I make no notes or prompts or bullet points to help me out, because I believe that you guys prefer to hear a spontaneous, risky diatribe or rant or reflection or whatever. So derealisation, yes, I was talking about if you have the symptom, but depression, punch in the face, depression, lucky guy, got it for a month. Yes, I used to dismiss depression, thinking I get sad, what's wrong with these people? But then you get 20 times worse. Look, it's not like you're laid around. Well, that doesn't help. It's not like you're laid around feeling fine and that makes you depressed. Do you know what I mean? It's you wake up like this. You could have had the best day of your life. Well, probably not, but hypothetically, you could have had the best day of your life the day before, but you wake up feeling like everyone you know has died. And you have to take the day from there. Yes, I'm cautious about repeating myself when it comes to derealisation, but I thought I had to throw it in just because that's what I've become, in an extremely minor way, prominent for on YouTube. Well, my music videos have been up for years, but I've got more views, some of which were bought, which is very common. My friend, justifying it there. My friend used to work at Universal, and he said the first thing they would do when they put out Adele's new single, who, by the way, I don't know if she was with Universal, but my ex-girlfriend's friend worked at the label Adele was at, which could have been Universal, one of the other big labels. And they go to incredible lengths to market her as the strong, independent, sassy, black soul singer in a white woman's body. I don't give a fuck woman. Is a very carefully constructed marketing image. Okay, Rage Against the Machine, I'm sure some of you think are dissidents, was signed to Sony BMG. Come on. That's like, it's like saying Sargon of Akkad on YouTube is like a dissident. is sponsored by on Patreon, mainly by Theresa May or something. You know, it just cheapens the whole thing. I like Rage Against the Machine music, but the point is they're not well, Che Guevara, but thank God they weren't Che Guevara, because he was a murderous monster who ran concentration camps and shot children in the head all the time and raped a slave/servant on a dinner table in front of everyone and carried on the dinner. Good old Che. Anyway, maybe I should make notes on these things because I lose the thread. Yes, I don't want to repeat myself, even though I've just repeated that phrase. So, obviously, fear. When the derealisation started, fear was what I felt. Terror, all the time. And I scraped through. I got through. You just, try and say to yourself, I don't stop. No matter what, I don't stop. Not to the ridiculous point of burnout, but, life's very short and we have a very special opportunity. I don't know if I'd call it a gift, but a very special opportunity. As far as we know, we're the only creatures capable of music or literature or science. Or saying that whales and other creatures do sing. Whales that travel thousands of miles to carry on songs they'd stopped singing years ago. In a group, in a community. And discipline, obviously, you need to overcome the fear. And it's not discipline like, I learned this from Jordan Peterson actually. You can't be a tyrant to yourself. You have to sort of negotiate with yourself. Like a fairly ruthless negotiation, I would say. But, you've got to be like, right, you need to do all this stuff before you can lounge around. Comfort is the enemy in some ways. If you, it's just Jordan Peterson again, but commenting on what Dostoevsky said. If everything was solved and all we had to do was lie around on cushions all day and have sex, we'd go insane with boredom and try and fuck it all up just to have some problems to solve and have some life to live, Yes, I think stagnation is really the enemy of depression or anxiety or derealisation or a number of things, I'm sure. So yes, my heart does go out to you if you're having the derealisation symptoms, or the depersonalization, which I imagine is probably worse. Where you start recognizing people, and yeah, really bad. But people get through it and get over it. Not promise that you will get over it, but you can get through it. People go for decades with it. And as I pointed out in my other videos on the topic, people have gone through far, far worse. With depersonalization in a concentration camp, say, which was not a camp, it was a city. By the way, same with the gulags, not just a building. Yeah, they would get depersonalization. Or he talks about walking around with some guys after they were released by American soldiers, perhaps, or British soldiers. The British forces, by the way, the only ones to beat the Nazis in Nazis, I usually say Nazis, in a direct confrontation. The bulldog spirit and all that stuff. Anyway, they were walking around a town after they were released, and he said to them, Did you enjoy it? And they said, in truth, no. It all seemed alien and strange and disturbing and like a sort of bad fairy tale, a bad taste fairy tale. Which one of the only books in which I've read the word depersonalization, he says this is known as depersonalization. So yeah, they went through all that and then got that. And I'm sure many people in many places where the bombs are dropping and the terrorists are knocking, are in such states of fear and anxiety that they have it as well. We have it good, you know. Most of you are probably watching this in countries where we have it pretty good. And if you don't think we do, read almost anything, and you'll see how, you know, considering what life was like and is like, so many places, we have it very good. So on that note of gratitude, I will stop. Hopefully this video won't take days to upload because I'm using my inbuilt ghostly effect camera again. I don't put any effects on it, it just does that because it's not that good. What am I going to do after this? I'm going to try and promote my videos and music. So I've done other videos on advertising. Obviously you've got the Islam one coming up, which could be the end of me, but I don't care. Well, I do care actually, that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I'm going to do it anyway because I've got a lot of thoughts on this issue and it's very close to my heart because of all the children I worked with. And, you know, I'm going to carry a big weight with me if I don't share it. I now realise that starting these videos was the reason I had to do that one, which is why it's so long. Completely unplanned as well. I expected half an hour, 20 minutes. Yes, I've got me playing the cartoon theme songs, like I mentioned. My music available completely free. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to draw your attention to it because I did it, and I want a bit of ego validation when people listen to it, maybe, or I want my art to help you, perhaps. I don't know which it is. I genuinely don't. Anyway, it's available under my name on all the platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, YouTube, etc. Deezer. Same with my band, Cats on the Beach. It's Cats on the Beach. So Radiohead, Libertinesy vibe, Cure vibe. If you don't believe me, listen to it. And my solo stuff more. Elliott Smith, Nick Drake, Leonard Cohen, moody stuff. Although I have some comedy songs as well. I want to do a video on the genius of Bob Dylan because Leonard Cohen did one. I love Leonard Cohen, but he did one thing well. Bob Marley did one thing well. Nick Drake did one thing well. Almost everyone did one thing well. You know, the Beatles did a few things well. Bob Dylan did hundreds of things well. And I've heard people say Bob Dylan can't sing, he's got no soul, etc. And they claim to know his back catalogue, but can't know it. They might have heard Highway 61 and thought, oh, he's too whiny. Or they might have heard the Freewheeling and thought, I don't really like acoustic music. It's a bit boring, it needs drums, it needs whatever. Although Karina has that lovely, gentle drum part. Or they hear the later stuff. Some of the later stuff where he sounds like he's just downed a pint of gravel and blood. And they say, oh, you know, his voice is too harsh and grating, and I can't get into that. You have not explored. Even if you've got all the albums, you haven't explored, because there are hundreds and hundreds of B-sides and live things which are just astonishing at such a young age that he was so eclectic and could personify all these different characters within the song and change his voice to radical degrees, which he rarely did in the albums. But the early live stuff, like a different person in each song, and completely different guitar styles all the time, and would take old classic folk songs and just improve, like tweak it to improve the lyrics and do them. Anyway, I want to do a video on Bob Dylan, definitely. I think he's great. I've often said, I'll end on this. If there were two men, you know, I'm heterosexual, wouldn't mind at all if I was homosexual, but I'm not. You know, I wouldn't enjoy having sex with a man, but if I had to choose either to be the husband or the wife, you know, I think Bob Dylan and Milo Yiannopoulos would be Leonard Cohen's dead now, so that wouldn't be good. But yeah. So that's a sign that I should stop this video. So yes, check me out, subscribe, please get in touch if you want to praise me or slag me off or whatever, or say hello, please do. On Facebook or here or email. Well, is that it? Or Twitter or something, I don't know. Okay, take it easy, stay fun. This is my new sort of sign-off line. Stay fun, stay strong, stay honest. Maybe I should stop saying that. Tell me what you think. Okay. All right, have a good day. I'm not signing off again. All right, bye.